Picture this. You're watching a Formula One race. The car's screaming around the Monaco circuit at mind-bending speeds, when suddenly one driver makes a catastrophic mistake. Instead of keeping their DRS wing closed through the notorious casino corner, they leave it wide open. What happens next isn't just a simple spin-out or a gentle slide into the barriers. What unfolds is a perfect storm of physics that transforms a precision racing machine into something closer to a runaway missile. To understand why this scenario is so terrifying, we need to talk about downforce. Formula One cars are essentially upside-down airplanes, designed to stick to the track rather than take off. At racing speeds, a modern F1 car generates so much downforce that it could theoretically drive upside down on a ceiling. The rear wing alone can produce forces equivalent to having a small elephant pressing down on the back of the car. This invisible hand keeps the car glued to the asphalt, allowing drivers to take corners at speeds that would send a regular car tumbling into the stands. But here's where things get interesting. The DRS, or drag reduction system, is designed to open on straight sections of track, reducing drag and allowing cars to reach higher top speeds for overtaking. When that wing opens, it's like removing half of that elephant's weight from the rear of the car. On a straight, this is exactly what you want. In a corner, it's automotive suicide. Let's say our hypothetical driver is approaching the casino corner at Monaco, one of the most challenging turns in motorsport. They're carrying about 180 kilometers per hour into the corner, relying on every bit of downforce their car can muster. The front wing is biting into the air, the floor is creating a low-pressure zone underneath, and the rear wing is providing that crucial stability. Everything is working in perfect harmony until that fateful moment when the wing opens. The loss of downforce isn't gradual, it's instantaneous and brutal. Within milliseconds, the rear of the car becomes lighter than a feather in aerodynamic terms. The carefully balanced equation that keeps an F1 car planted suddenly becomes catastrophically unbalanced. It's like trying to steer a shopping cart with one wheel missing, except you're doing it at the speed of a bullet train. The physics of what happens next are both beautiful and terrifying. Without sufficient downforce pressing the rear tires into the track, they lose their grip on the asphalt. The car begins to rotate, and once that rotation starts, the laws of angular momentum take over with merciless efficiency. The vehicle doesn't just slide sideways, it begins to spin like a figure skater who's just pulled their arms in tight. But that's just the beginning of our mechanical nightmare. As the car starts to rotate, the airflow over the vehicle becomes even more chaotic. Formula One cars are designed with incredibly precise aerodynamics, where every surface, every curve, every wing element is calculated to work in harmony when the car is pointing forward. When the car starts spinning, all of those carefully designed aerodynamic elements begin working against each other. The front wing, still trying to generate downforce, is now facing sideways to the airflow. The side pods, designed to channel air efficiently to the rear of the car, become massive air brakes. The entire vehicle transforms from a streamlined racing machine into an aerodynamic disaster. Here's where the scenario becomes truly spectacular and dangerous. As the car spins, it doesn't just slide across the track like a hockey puck on ice. The chaotic airflow and the remaining aerodynamic surfaces create unpredictable forces that can launch the vehicle into the air. We've seen this happen in real racing incidents where cars become airborne not because they hit a ramp, but because their aerodynamics become so disrupted that they essentially try to fly. And then things get even more interesting. Modern Formula One cars weigh about 800 kilograms, including the driver. When you add in the rotational energy from spinning at high speed, plus the forward momentum from the original corner entry speed, you're dealing with an enormous amount of kinetic energy that has to go somewhere. The barriers around a track like Monaco aren't just there for decoration. They're engineered to absorb and dissipate this kind of energy. But even the most sophisticated barrier systems are designed with the assumption that a car will hit them more or less head-on, not spinning like a top with unpredictable aerodynamic forces acting upon it. The sound alone would be unforgettable. First, there's the sudden change in engine note as the driver lifts off the throttle in panic. Then comes the screech of tires losing grip, followed by the distinctive whistle of air rushing chaotically over the car's surfaces. If the car becomes airborne, there is an eerie moment of relative silence before the inevitable impact with either the track surface or the barriers. For the driver strapped inside, the experience would be both terrifying and disorienting. Modern F1 drivers train extensively in simulators and are accustomed to high GI forces. But nothing really prepares you for the sensation of your car suddenly deciding it no longer wants to behave like a car. The forces acting on the driver would be completely unpredictable, changing direction and magnitude as the car spins and potentially tumbles. The advanced safety systems in modern F1 cars, including the Halo device and the survival cell, are designed to protect drivers in exactly these kinds of scenarios, but it would still be a wild ride. The aftermath would depend entirely on track conditions, the specific corner, and pure luck. In the best-case scenario, the car might spin across a wide runoff area, dissipating its energy gradually before coming to rest against a tire barrier. The driver might walk away with nothing more than bruised pride and a very expensive repair bill. In the worst case, the car could become airborne and impact other vehicles or track infrastructure. It's potentially causing a multi-car incident that could change the outcome of not just the race, but potentially careers and lives. What makes this scenario particularly fascinating from a technical standpoint is how it demonstrates the incredible precision required in modern motorsport. Formula One cars operate in a world where millimeters matter, where the difference between perfect grip and catastrophic loss of control can be measured in tiny fractions of aerodynamic efficiency. The DRS system, which seems like such a simple concept, opening and closing a wing, it's actually a perfect example of how every single system on these cars must work in perfect harmony with every other system. The irony is that the DRS was introduced to make racing more exciting and to increase overtaking opportunities. It's a system designed to give following cars an advantage on straights, helping them catch up to the car ahead. But like many technologies in Formula One, it's a double-edged sword that can enhance performance when used correctly, or create disaster when used at the wrong moment. Racing drivers at the highest level develop an almost supernatural sense of their car's behavior. They can feel through the steering wheel, through the seat of their pants, through vibrations in the chassis, exactly what their car is doing and what it's about to do. For a driver to leave the DRS open through a corner would require either a momentary lapse in concentration, mechanical failure, or a complete misunderstanding of track conditions. Any of these scenarios is possible, which is why this hypothetical situation, while unlikely, remains entirely plausible. The ripple effects of such an incident would extend far beyond the track. Formula One is a sport where safety innovations developed for racing often find their way into road cars. Every major incident provides data that engineers use to improve safety systems, aerodynamic designs, and electronic controls. A spectacular crash caused by an open DRS wing would undoubtedly lead to enhanced safety protocols, perhaps additional sensors to prevent DRS activation in inappropriate conditions, or modified wing designs that fail more safely. Imagine the aftermath. Teams poring over telemetry data, trying to understand exactly what went wrong and how to prevent it from happening again. Engineers would run countless computer simulations, testing different scenarios and wing configurations. The governing body would likely introduce new regulations, adding another layer of safety systems to an already incredibly complex machine. What started as one moment of aerodynamic chaos would ripple through the entire sport, influencing car designs and safety protocols for years to come. This is the beautiful complexity of Formula One, where the margin between triumph and disaster can be measured in the simple opening and closing of a wing. In a sport where drivers routinely dance on the knife's edge of physics, where cars push the very boundaries of what's mechanically possible, even the smallest mistake can create a perfect storm of consequences that reminds us just how extraordinary these machines and the people who drive them really are. So the next time you watch a Formula One race and see that rear wing snap open on a straight, remember, you're witnessing one of motorsport's most elegant and dangerous technologies. A system so powerful that using it at the wrong moment could transform a precision racing machine into a spinning, flying testament to the awesome power of aerodynamics gone wrong.